Dare I say, has Love Island gone woke?
And that's not good because go woke, go broke.
Why have they done that then?
Girls, can I just walk you through the last 48 hours and take you inside?
Clip shows Jackie essentially giving Freddy what looks to be a suspicious looking cigarette.
Oh, Chris Hughes and Jojo Siwa. I'm still obsessed.
Welcome to the Showbiz Fix, where we will be taking you behind the scenes of the Sun's biggest scoops, bringing you exclusive extra gossip and a rundown on everything you lot are loving this week. Today, we'll be dishing on Love Island's most dramatic launch ever and hear more on the troubling ongoing feud between Jeff and Freddie Brazier. I'm Deputy TV Editor Flick Cross, and joining me to run through all of this is Assistant Showbiz Editor Amanda Devlin and Showbiz Editor for The Sun on Sunday, Hannah Hope.
Hello.
Girls, are you ready? Because we have got a lot to discuss.
I'm so excited. This is a big week for Showbiz.
It really is. I mean, as you can tell, this tan, I am fresh from the Love Island villa and I bring with me a lot of gossip.
It's authentic.
It's a real tan, guys. Speaking of authentic, the drama this year has needed no producer intervention, none of those producer stepping in, because it's all kicking off already. So this basically is the big story about Kyle Ashman. Mm-hmm. So he was axed from the lineup before the show even began because of something the Sun revealed to producers. We'll dive into that in a bit, but first of all, can I just talk to you about the villa?
Absolutely. I need to hear everything. What is it like?
So a lorry load of neon paint could not make the villa the main character because of the cast, obviously, always with the drama. But they're trying.
Yeah.
So they've actually brought in some changes this year, and one of them is quite PR friendly. So I'm going to take you through it. The first is that the villa's gone entirely green.
But not by colour.
Not by colour. No, it's the opposite. It's very pink and orange. Solar panels. All
Okay.
solar panelled, all solar powered, which is obviously ITV's doing its bit. They've even got the Islanders a watt bike to charge up their mobile phones.
Oh wow! I forget they get mobile phones in there.
Yeah.
So they obviously you've got a text. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
It means that it doubles up. It means they get some exercise as well. Keep buff.
I was a bit worried about what this is going to look like when they're on the bike in their bikinis, because
Quite sexy, I imagine.
Well, I was a bit worried about like camel toes.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be on a bike in a bikini.
So I did my job as a journalist, and I got on the bike to test it out. Obviously, I videoed it for you guys. So do you want to see?
Absolutely.
Now, if the Islanders aren't feeling hot enough in this summer of love, they can work up a sweat on this bike. Now, this has got two reasons. It's not just for exercise. They can actually charge their phone on here. Perfect for those fire selfies. Okay, so obviously that was incredibly sexy.
I mean, hot stuff there.
Yeah.
Do you know what is not sexy this year? The Hideaway. Let me tell you why. They have banned the whips, chains, handcuffs, and the sexy lingerie.
Boo.
You know how there was always that cupboard where they would go in and then they'd do that really sort of...
Yeah, we've seen nurses, we've seen cowgirls. It's been really raunchy in the past, hasn't it? Like you've almost seen like proper strip shows and then like the camera cuts away.
Yeah. So now we'll just be relying on the Islanders being sexy. And
Why have they done that then?
So when I was chatting with exec producer Mike Spencer-Hater, he said it's because he feels like we've seen all of that. It's got really performative. He wants it to feel fresh. But I think the problem with this is you're relying on them going in there and being sexy, doing sexy things. And as we know from these Islanders, sometimes they're quite dull.
Do you think he's trying to move it away from like a gimmicky vibe and keep it more, I don't know, like
Yeah.
authentic?
Well, look, dare I say, has Love Island gone woke?
And that's not good because go woke, go broke, as famously people
yeah.
say.
Yeah.
I'm actually concerned about it because, well, one, is there going to be blackouts? Maybe because of the solar panel situation.
I mean,
we'll
it's
just
your
that's
be
true.
watching, and next thing, the screen goes entirely black. I mean, it's it's a bit of a funny one on the 10th anniversary to also be cutting out drama like with whips and all of this stuff that could potentially be creating a little bit of extra excitement on screen.
Yeah.
Because we want surely more, and we're in the age now of a few weeks ago we had Virgin Island, where you're seeing people really putting themselves out there on screen. So to go, this feels like a real backward step almost of not making them go for it a bit.
It's a TV show. Like, we want it to be entertaining. Yeah. It feels that they're trying to make it like very tick boxy.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's the 10th anniversary, so we need them to be pulling out all the stops rather than kind of stripping it back and making it like I don't know your bog standard Premier Inn.
Well, well, this is the thing. If I wanted to see normal people having a snog and then copping off, I'd just go to like the Slug of Lettuce. And,
totally.
It's Love Island. It's meant to be dialed up, so we will see how that goes. What I was really excited about, and this is very much me being 40 and boring, for the first time in Love Island recent history, we're going to see them eating.
So you get to see them having their like lunches and dinners.
Yeah.
That is exciting.
Yeah, so basically, lunch and dinner always used to be off camera because they felt like they needed to, it's quite procedural and all that kind of thing. But I think they started to realise, particularly when these islanders come off the show and go onto podcasts, they'll say, well, you didn't see this conversation because it happened at lunch. You didn't see this because it was this big thing that happened at dinner. So for the first time, producers are trying to give us a bit more of that authentic, here's what actually happens. And if something happens during those meal times, we're going to see it.
And more importantly, people eat. So I think it's important that we see these like Adonises and like sexy bikini babes actually like put food in their mouths.
Yeah, but do they eat? Because those bodies, I mean, I want to see what they're eating.
Yes,
like,
that's
is
really
it just
interesting.
Salad?
Yeah.
Like, what are they actually? There's not
Probably
McDonald's every day, is it?
I just love it. And I think a little window into this is another thing that Mike said was, I said to him, how does he feel about the fact that they all go on these podcasts after and rewrite history in a way and say, you didn't see this and producers told us to do this. And he said, look, if that's their version of what happened, I don't recognise it, but if that's their version...
Recollections may vary.
Exactly.
So late recollections.
Will we see them inject themselves with Manjaro and Ozempic? Because I'm sure some of them are probably on, those appetite curbing.
A look in the fridge.
Do you know that there was a couple who were banned from All Stars because of the fact that they'd been on weight loss jabs?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult when you talk about medication and that kind of thing. And certainly there are people in there who will be taking medication.
Of course, yeah.
Stuff. So I don't know. We'll leave that up to the internet and the rumours. Another big deal. The bean bags have gone.
Oh, good. Such an eyesore, and also does it when you slouch it, beanbags are not very like fashionable at the moment. And when you have like, when you're on a beanbag and you're slouched, it's not good for the like the stomach rolls.
Yeah.
So
especially now they're eating.
Yeah, exactly. What have they got instead?
Very Molly May boucle beige wooden little squat chairs. I was a bit like, but Mike wants it all to feel quite bougie. There's also this water net, kind of Bali style over the pool that you can sit on. Nice. I did try it out, guys, and let me just say,
did you get wet?
The problem is more when you're on it, reclining, nice. When you're getting on and off it, no. The outtakes.
Do we have video footage of that?
There might be video footage.
So you've been to the villa before. So
yes.
You can actually directly compare. What do you think of this new revamp?
They want to keep it fresh and exciting. It does sometimes feel a bit, I'm saying the word performative again, but it does feel a bit like sometimes they make the changes for change's sake. Waternet needed... No. But I tell you one thing that they do need to sort out, the showers.
Oh, no.
The showers are see-through.
Oh.
And Mike even admitted we need to do something about this before we start filming.
Oh, so they probably will put some kind of cover over them. So, yeah.
At the minute, it's got a kind of corrugated sort of frosting on it, but it needs to be, the darnie's turning up. Obviously, again, I'm a journalist. I got in the shower for you guys.
Oh, wow.
To test it out.
Good investigation. Sounds like you had a brilliant time.
Do you want to watch me in the shower?
Sure. Why not?
Hi, guys. So I've got something really important I need to tell you. So I'm just reporting from the Love Island Villa bathroom. And I'm speaking quietly because I'm probably not meant to tell you this. But I was just in here with exec producer Mike Spencer. And he told me that they're a bit worried about these showers because you can see through them. So we tested it out and you can actually see through them. And I mean, they're going to have to fix that before launch, right? Because otherwise that's a completely different kind of show. So in the name of journalism, I'm going to test it out. What do we think? That probably wasn't as exciting as I teased that it would be.
No, I enjoyed it. I like to see that authenticity. I remember, so I went to the villa several years ago, before it was sort of as woke as it is now. And I remember they had condoms scattered by the bed. They had sex toys in the hideaway.
Oh, the good old days.
Is there none of that anymore? Are they trying to make it much cleaner? Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
it's
okay.
very clean girl.
Why?
In lots of ways. I just, so when I talk to Mike about sex, he always says, and I even said to him about Virgin Island, you know, they have raised the bar. You know, there were people showing people literally losing their virginity on telly.
Yeah.
Good old Dave managed to get there. And I said this to Mike, and he said he'd not actually watched Virgin Island. But he always feels that they have the right approach to sex, in that if it happens, they do it in quite a comical way. So I don't know if you remember last summer when Joey Essex and Jessie Potts finally did it. It was a rocking champagne bucket.
So they do it tastefully.
Yeah.
I must admit, I totally see why they do that. And in this climate, I think they have to be super careful. But do you remember when it first started, you used to see Amber and Kem kind of going to have sex and christen different areas of the villa. And then I think you saw Emma and Terry, basically, she was like doing him cowgirl. And that was like on the front page of all the papers. Like, I kind of miss when we, used to get a bit more action. I mean, it was definitely a bit juicier, and now they're like a bit super respectful, because I mean, it's Love Island at the end of the day. They're not, I mean, the whole idea of the show is they have to sleep in the same bed as each other. They're not there just holding hands, are they?
Like, it's strange because we've kind of done more, we go further than ever in some ways, but then we're really careful in terms of censoring everything. Yeah. Because that's what I was going to ask you about. So we're seeing them eat. Are we seeing them smoke? Because that was back in the day.
Oh, are we seeing them smoke?
And that was where all the, I mean, we all know on a night out, you're out in the smoking area. Even if you don't smoke, you're just there getting the gossip. That's why you find it.
I'm a fan of smoking, by the way, guys. But that's obviously when they're angry, you see them storm off, and they used to have like cigarettes.
And that's why you can go and like, you can have a good, good rant. You can get all of the gossip. I feel like that's what we need to see. I think that's what has been missing for a long time.
I cannot see a world that ITV is ever going to bring in a little smoking hut.
And they're just there.
So we're not seeing them smoke. No, sorry. I thought you meant we were.
That's what I want.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
But all it would be now is this like cloud of like, blueberry smoke.
Exactly.
The vape. Instead of an actual cigarette. But yeah.
Okay, speaking of clouds, dark cloud over the launch, of course, has been obviously all around this bad boy, alleged bad boy, I should say, Islander Kyle Ashman.
Hello everyone, I'm Kyle. I just came in here to say I'm sure you've seen the news circulating. I'm innocent, there was no further action. I'm not a bad guy. Honestly, I'm not a bad guy.
So he was basically axed from the lineup this week after The Sun alerted ITV that he had been arrested and questioned by police over a machete attack at a funeral. A sentence I never thought I'd say in regards to Love Island. So this is incredibly shocking. Now, it's important that I say that he wasn't charged and no further action was taken. But the fact remains he was only released from that with the NFA last month, which means that he would have been having all of these conversations with ITV and auditioning with all of this going on. And ITV had no idea. Okay.
Ooh, but there were some panicked phone calls going on backstage, crisis meetings.
Girls, can I just walk you through the last 48 hours and take you inside this story?
Absolutely, yes.
So I'm at the Love Island villa, and The Sun is contacted about this situation that had happened to do with Kyle Ashman. So very often we have readers and people get in touch with us with gossip and things for us to look into. And we were obviously incredibly shocked. I'm especially shocked because at that moment, I'm posing outside the Love Island villa for my little picture to send to my mum. And then I'm on this walk around the villa with the executive producers who are talking about how this series is going to be the best ever because the cast are all amazing. They've got these great personalities and all of this is happening. And I'm thinking, when we finish this tour, I'm going to have to pull you aside and ask you about Kyle. Because that's obviously what we need to do when we do these stories. We have to put them to people, get their side of the story. And of course, we want to hear what went on from all sides. So you can imagine how that went down. I think the phrase "fox in the hen house" was used in that I'm there doing all the happy, smiley climbing in the shower, while also then having this in my back pocket that I then need to have this conversation with ITV.
Really, there you were.
Yeah.
Did they call you the fox?
So it was a conversation that someone had with me later. Right. I won't tell you who.
That's your new nickname now.
You are quite foxy, to be fair, Flick.
Yeah, well,
Foxy Flick.
But I guess we face these sort of situations all the time, don't we? And what we do in that we'll know something about someone because of our brilliant sources and stories that we have. And they won't know that we know. And it's I know, you know, we don't know that. But anyway, so we reached a point where ITV, of course, went to speak to Kyle and heard his side of the story and looked into the police statements, which we then had, the police confirming elements of what someone brought to us. And the decision was taken that Kyle would need to leave the show. Now, this was partly because ITV felt that it was so serious that he needed to have the freedom to be able to talk about it himself. But guys, from ITV's point of view, let's talk about their duty in this.
Yeah.
What checks are they doing on these islanders where it can reach this point where someone's, glam promo pic is all over ITV's social pages, hours later, swiftly removed. And this is where we reach, where with casting, it's gone this wrong. What do you think?
I think, you go first.
Well, I was going to say that the point of it being actually out there, he's, for official photographs put out there that we know his name, we know everything about him. Here he is in a couple of days' time going to be in that villa, and then you kind of find out all of this. It wasn't as if it was in negotiations, they're in talks and they've discovered it. It's gone so far down the line, and I think it's a big embarrassment for ITV. Are we kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel to find stars now in its 10th series? Is that kind of, that's it's 10th, it's not 10th series, it's 10th year, that's anniversary. Are we really struggling to find people now, and we're sort of looking to anyone and they're not that great?
I think if you use Instagram as your kind of shop window, which is I know what of the very young, inexperienced casting producers use, then that's essentially it, isn't it? It's everything about social media. It is all a facade. ITV also use like an AI search engine, which only does sort of certain checks at a quite like shallow level. We've written about them in the past, and I think that. Yeah, you are going to get these sorts of hiccups if you don't do that proper due diligence.
Yeah.
So I remember that Jack Maynard thing with I'm a Celeb.
Yeah, that was my story.
When he was chucked out there, when he was actually, because he was in the jungle and these old tweets resurfaced.
And exactly, I was the fox in the hen house. I was in Australia, and I remember on the eve of the show, I put the call into ITV again and said, look, we've got this front page story about all of these tweets. What are you going to do? And he'd used really shocking derogatory language, very homophobic, very racist. And they sent him home within 24 hours. And when I heard about this story, I knew that was exactly what they were going to do. Because from the advertising point of view, they can't afford, especially ITV at the moment, with making all the ITV daytime cuts, to be supporting and showcasing these sorts of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I suppose it actually ended up being the front page. It was a good stance really for ITV, because they'd taken action rather than it being that they'd let him go into the villa. And I think that it actually turned out kind of well for them and how it was.
So ITV were very keen to sort of flag the fact that they do DBS check these people, and they do have great duty of care, we know this, and all that kind of thing, but DBS checks don't flag if someone has been questioned or held in any way. And if Kyle's lied to them during his audition process, which, let's face it, he did. He was released with no further action, and he has said, I'm not a bad guy and all that kind of thing. But he wasn't upfront with them about everything that was going on. And if they can't rely on their cast to be honest with them, there needs to be some other way that they dive into these people, right?
Absolutely. I think that he has been lucky to get as far as he did, but he's already sort of got these, petitions to get him back in the villa, but it was a really, really serious thing that he was questioned over, and it has to be taken seriously.
Well, like I say, when did one ever think you'd be saying a Love Islander has been axed from the show because they were, questioned by police over something like this? It's insane.
Well, you actually did them a favour, Flick, because at least they can have their starting lineup with a new replacement Love Islander.
Absolutely.
I mean, if they'd actually put him on the show, they would have invested sort of camera time and there would have been storyline time.
Absolutely.
So they really should be grateful to us.
Yeah. Well, I said this to ITV Press when we were talking about this. I said, in my opinion, it's early enough to just crack on.
Swap him out.
Yeah, like act decisively, because I think that's what we need from our broadcasters, isn't it? Decisive action, do the right thing. Because look, if I was a mum of one of the girls going on this show and then this had come out, I'd think my precious baby girl is in that TV villa cracking on with this lad and we don't know what went on. Yeah. So look, anyway, I must just stress again that Kyle wasn't charged, and I'm sure we'll hear more from him about everything that went on. But there's another one that's been questioned by police as well.
This is what I mean about that barrel.
So the Sun revealed the next day that there was question marks over Dijon Noel Williams. So he's the personal trainer / footballer. I quite enjoy this because so he also was released with no further action. His friend did have to make an apology to the victim in this, but these lads basically met two girls in Inca nightclub in London. They all get in an Uber to go to an after party, and they've all had a few drinks. It's 4 a.m. and they end up in a row over who's paying for the food.
I love that. You mean the chips, the cheesy chips at the end of the night? Oh my goodness.
Who's paying for the Uber?
So they're not gentlemen then, are they? Jeez.
They all end up in a row, and then basically one of the girls, during what went on, her phone ended up being grabbed by one of the boys, and they ran off with it.
No, that's so bad.
Now, the girl's phone was returned to her, but at the first initial point, it was a complaint over robbery because they went off with her phone, right?
Yeah.
But because the phone was returned and all of this sort of thing, it ended up with this sort of low level, apologise, sort this all out, guys. Because let's face it, it's just a silly drunken row, right?
Yeah.
But that is quite serious though. If someone went off with my phone, I would call the police. That's terrible. There's so much snatch and grab phone crime in London.
Guys, it was an iPhone 14 Plus as well.
And so how did it end then? What happened?
So basically,
the girl got her phone back.
The girl got her phone back. It all just ended up with kind of, an apology and I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
And, I mean, look, but again, it's
he's staying in though, right?
So he's staying in because he told ITV about this.
Okay, right.
So because, again, no further action was taken. He was quizzed, but nothing went any further. But he was upfront with ITV. They knew about this. So when I spoke to them about this one, they were aware he'd been upfront already, so they knew about it. So I think on this case, they decided he was fine to crack on and go ahead. We also heard from him in a very full statement about everything that went on, which was included in today's paper. So we've also got a love rat, guys.
Of course we do.
Amanda,
we need
you've
an
got
F-boy in there.
Yeah. You've got the tea. Go on.
So Harry.
Not
Have
Harry.
you seen him? Harry in the villa he's going to be the new heartthrob. Heartthrob Harry. He's a footballer.
Have you dated Harry?
No, I have not. But I have.
Gushing.
I have interviewed him. And there's a bit of a problem because there's a story that's come out today in the Sun that's saying that he had a girlfriend before he went in to the villa, and he told her that he was going away for the summer, going to Bali.
Not Bali.
And he would, it was like that kind of eat, pray, love. And then he's going to come back and he would see her soon. And then she found out he was in the lineup for Love Island.
Oh, that's terrible. Poor girl.
Yeah. Okay, so I was thinking, oh, what a love rat. This is awful. The only thing is, when I interviewed him, I kind of fell in love with him.
No.
Charmed you.
So charming. Just like, cute dimples. He was just like, he just smiled. And he was telling me that they weren't serious. It wasn't a girlfriend situation. He was dating
They weren't
her,
exclusive, as the kids say these days.
They weren't exclusive. And I just, I believed him. I'm sure that he's not lying at all.
Amanda, you fell for it.
I really did. Honestly, I really did. But I think he's going to be one of the standouts of the series so far. Not just because I've got a crush, but because he's kind of got all of these traits that we look for in a Love Islander. It's the football player. And now he's got this reputation already of being a player. he's going to be schmoozing. And another thing that he did tell me is that he is not afraid to go all the way.
Oh, some good old-fashioned romping.
And that actually, he's already pre-warned his mum. Oh. He says, you know, just to let you know, I'm up for this. And I just thought that was kind of really weird, but also honest.
It's a shame he didn't pre-warn his girlfriend.
Yeah. He spoke to his mum instead. Look, he couldn't tell her. You're not allowed to tell who you're going, you know, other people you're going on.
Your girlfriend, maybe. Jeez. Right, look, you interviewed the Islanders.
Yeah.
So who did you like?
So I've got some more boys to interview today. It's ongoing. Yeah. It's been it's so interesting getting to meet them beforehand, and now I can't wait to see actually what they're like on screen.
And it's on Zoom, so you get to see them.
It's on Zoom. They're in their isolation sort of hotel rooms, and their phone's been taken away. So at this point in time, they know that everyone knows they're going in. They know there's excitement about it, but they're just with this one chaperone. No phone, they're just getting their tans ready to go in, doing some filming and bits like that. Yeah. So they go on to these interviews with all of us journalists, and we're just sat just grilling them and trying to get everything out of them. We do light-hearted stuff like your green, what's a green light for you? Green light, green flag, red flag. But then also sort of the more, like I did ask Harry about, this girlfriend, alleged girlfriend, and, other things that are going on in the villa that we will talk about soon. I think that the main ones who stood out for me,
go on,
just in terms of like how they come across, and they're like so confident and bubbly. I thought, you're acting like you're somebody already, which is very confident, bit cocky, but that's what you need to be in there, right? I think is Shakira.
Yeah, I love the name.
Who I know totally. She said that she could start an argument with a brick wall, and I believe her 100%. She was, in her answers, she was kind of ready to sort of like, she was just fiery, and I just feel like she's going to be at the centre of all of the drama. Okay. I think that she's going to be someone that will be not holding back. If God forbid one of those girls goes for her guy, then I don't know, it's going to be World War III.
Oh, good.
So I think she's one to watch out for. And then also Sophie. She spoke at length with us about her fire-breathing accident, which left her scarred for life. And she's gone in there, and I said to her about, the fact that she is going on to a show that's all about your looks. I mean, let's be honest, they try and say that it's not, but it is. We're going in there, you're in your bikini every day, you're being judged. Maybe there's the start of the show when it's got a lineup of girls, and then who steps forward for who. It's all based on that before you even know anyone. And she was just like, actually, no, I want to go on and now and prove that, this is part of my story. Because what happened to her was really awful, but you can read about it obviously on The Sun. And I loved I think I loved all of them, to be honest. Yeah. They were all really good.
Who was faking it?
I found this is what I'm interested to see, because it'll be so interesting because she is different on screen, but I found, is it Helena, she's the air hostess. Yeah. I found her quite hard to read. She's very guarded. She sort of said a little bit, and then it was quite hard to get anything out of her. Whether she's holding it back because she wants to go into the villa and be a bit more fire, I don't know, but there was something about her that was a little bit guarded.
I've got a fun fact about Helena. She was cast on a plane by Mike. So she was serving Mike Spencer on a plane in her cabin crew job. And he was like wowed by presumably her personality, which she didn't reveal to you.
I'm really surprised at that. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of that going on at all.
Have you ever thought of Love Island, Here's My Card, etc., etc.?
Wow, that's very cool.
She's going in there a favourite already, so watch out for that.
Yeah, and do you know the other thing that really stuck out to me, and I want to hear what you think of this. All of the Love Islanders, they would be chatting away to us, really open and honest, and they would just casually drop into the conversation that they don't really watch Love Island on TV. They haven't watched the past series. They said that, I see clips on TikTok. I'm more of a TikTok viewer. God. And it really stunned me. I thought and it's because, there are a lot of them are like very early 20s, and that's how they're consuming everything. Yeah. But it's so interesting. They're going onto a show that they've not watched at all. They've not sat and watched the whole show.
Just see the best bits.
And the best bits, and sat through the adverts and waited up till 9 p.m.
I think that's really good though, because I think that over the years, we have seen people who maybe are performing for the cameras and are just going on it because they want to become the next influencer Molly May. So I think it's probably quite good that they're going to be themselves and they're not going to be necessarily game playing. I mean, I'm sure we will get some game players in there.
But are they going to be meme making? Like, if they've only consumed it by like 30-second clips, are they going to be trying to deliver the next 30-second clip?
Potentially. I mean, yeah, and doing TikTok dances, I'm sure, especially because they've got their phones in there.
Yeah. Well, I'm here for it. I love it. Amazing. Right, Hannah, I'm going to come to you, much more serious stuff, because I want to take a proper dive into everything that's going on in the Brazier family. So you've been leading with this. So basically, this is Jeff, Dad, Freddy and Bobby Brazier, sons, and they are Jeff's children with Jade Goody.
The late Jade Goody, yes.
So we know that there's a troubled background there. Bobby seems to have really overcome that and used it to sort of drive him on for good, but that's not necessarily been the case with Freddy. So take us through what's going on.
So we've got a video clip of Freddy with Jade's mother, Jackie Budden, who was in Celebrity Big Brother with Jade before she passed away, and was a bit of a tabloid favourite back in the day when Jade was still with us. And the clip shows Jackie essentially giving Freddy what looks to be a suspicious looking cigarette. And you can also see her leading him to smoke this cigarette and shutting the gate behind her by the river.
And how old's Freddy?
Freddy's 20.
Still young though.
But you have to ask the question, what kind of grandmother wants to actively give her child something purportedly to be drugs?
Yeah.
She has said in the past that she wants Freddy to be smoking with her and not anyone else. At least she knows what she is giving him is good stuff. But it's a very, very sad situation. And what we know, Jeff, who is an active TV presenter, both on TNT Sports and This Morning, is working to get an injunction to stop Freddy from seeing Jackie. And what we can reveal is that he's actually been given access to this video so that he can show the judge. So it actually exemplifies what Jackie is doing, and it shows her essentially being acting quite suspiciously and giving him what looks to be drugs.
God, they're big claims, aren't they? But this will all come out at a court case that will play out in public?
No, it will be a closed court case.
Right.
But it's just a really sad situation. And I think why it's become so interesting to the public is that they remember Jade when she was on Big Brother, when she was in her very early 20s. They remember her giving birth to Freddy and Bobby. And they sadly remember her very public battle with cervical cancer, which saw her pass away aged 27, 16 years ago.
So shocking still, isn't it? You can't believe that
and I think, and it's all, and also it's also so fresh in our memories. Like I remember there was a real spike when she passed away in women going to get smear tests to check about cervical cancer, because it really did kind of grab the nation's hearts. And I just think that Jeff is being a responsible parent and wanting the best for his sons, who are still, I mean, you are an adult when you're 20, but you're still so young at that age. And we've seen Bobby, like you say, carve a really successful career in EastEnders as an actor. He's been a model. He's also been on Strictly Come Dancing, was a runner-up. He's also been really open about his faith. He's a Hare Krishna. And I think that's where he's been able to kind of channel some of his anxiety and his troubles. He's been able to kind of get through that with meditation. And, you know, clearly both sons have grappled with missing their mum. So
what's going to happen next with this in terms of, you know, are we expecting to hear from Jeff on this? If Freddy wants to speak out about what's happening, maybe Jackie will say something.
Yeah, I think definitely Jackie is trying to do many interviews. She's often available for interviews. But really, you know, we haven't paid Jeff a penny. This video came from a punter on the street, and he just sent it in to us. So yeah, I think next we will see a court date for this injunction to take place, and once the injunction has been served, then it will be Jackie breaking the law if she sees Freddy.
Wow, crikey!
You're so right, though.
It
does really feel like we're really protective over the kids, because they're Jade Goody's children. You know, didn't she die on Mother's Day as well? I remember that. But you know, it being, there was something that they were so young, and you want to look after them, and so seeing one who's maybe in a bit of a bad place and in a bit of a vulnerable state, you sort of really want to protect him.
Definitely. Right. Well, we'll keep an eye on this one, won't we? Right, now I want to talk to you both about what the Biz team have been binging and binning this week. So what are you loving? What are you hating? And Amanda, you've got a quite juicy one, hot off the press.
Yeah, but it's driving me mad. This is on-off couples who just keep continuously breaking up and getting back together and then breaking up again. And this is breaking news today. Ronnie and Harriet from Love Island.
Classic on-off.
They're gone. Boring. They're over.
Yeah, they're so boring.
Yeah. They're over again.
Yeah.
So it's been back and forth like for a few weeks of just like they keep unfollowing each other on Instagram and deleting the pictures and then bringing them back on and then saying, no, everything's fine. But yeah, I'm just over it.
Attention seeking.
Yeah, and then did you hear about the other big celeb couple to have split up? Coldplay's Chris Martin and then Dakota Johnson.
They're on
who have always
too.
grown. Yeah, and I just feel like, look, just keep it to yourself if you're not like, just either just make it work or don't, because I'm fed up now.
Good. Bin. Right, what are you binging?
Binging. Do you know what I'm actually binging? It's another relationship one, but Chris Hughes and Jojo Siwa. I'm still obsessed. I'm going onto their socials all the time now, especially Jojo's mum. She posts some really great behind the scenes content of just their relationship, which is just so out of the blue and unexpected. Can't get enough. I cannot get enough of that.
But it's you and everyone else, because people are obsessed with them because they're such an unlikely couple.
Yeah.
Good for Chris Hughes.
And that picture that he posted of them in bed together and then deleted it, that was too far for me. But everything else, I love how much they love each other. It's so sweet.
Oh. Right, Hannah, what are you binning?
Oh, what am I binning? I'm binning Harry and Meghan, because after years of them proclaiming that they must have their privacy, Meghan has just posted this TikTok video of her dancing very pregnant in the hospital suite with Harry just before she gave birth 4 years ago to her daughter Lilibet. It's just so bait. No, ladies.
Meghan is the cringiest person alive, I think.
Wow. I mean, just either just say you are desperate to be an influencer or stop banging on about wanting privacy. You can't have it both ways.
I wish
guys.
I could have met Harry and been a princess.
Yeah, you would have been perfect, Samantha. He'd be still be in the UK if he'd met you.
And what are you binging?
So I'm obsessed with the White Lotus genre of TV shows. So give me any rich US folk in fabulous wardrobes in gorgeous destinations. So 9 Perfect Strangers has dropped season 2, being filmed in the German Alps. I'm also loving Friends and Neighbours with John Hamm on Apple, and Sirens on Netflix. Oh, the costumes are amazing.
Yeah, that is a good one. Okay, so my bin is Nepo, marriage Nepo, anyone who gets a job because of who they know over their talent.
Nepotism will get you everywhere, guys.
Sophie Habu joining Jamie Lang on the Radio 1 afternoon show.
Yeah.
No, neither of you are presenters. Like, Jamie's really grown, right? But what about the people who are on local radio stations, hospital radio stations, really honing their craft? Like, I'm aware I sound like an old nana here, but I don't care what radio people look like.
We were talking about this in conference, though. It's sadly radio stations and TV. That's why they're getting loads of influencers like, GK Barry on Loose Women. They need those social media clout.
Yeah.
It's really sad. I agree with you there.
Really sad. I'm binning it. Hire people because of their CV, not because of their Instagram followers. Just say
and own it. I hate when they pretend that they haven't got the job for that. Own it. You're a Nepo.
Yeah,
great.
Exactly. Slide across your Instagram profile. And then I'm binging Pitbull.
Oh, that was unexpected.
Now I am a Pitbull super fan girl to the point where on my hen do, all of my hens dressed up as Pitbull and I was Mrs. Worldwide. Fun fact. Pitbull is bringing out a book. It's a coffee table book that's called What Would Pit Do? The Life of Mr. Worldwide. And I just think it's the most iconic thing I've ever heard in the world.
Flick, he's coming to London later this month. You have to go and see him.
I'm ready to binge Pitbull.
In a few weeks' time, we need a clip of you dancing to Pitbull, or maybe even a picture with him. We have to make this happen, guys.
I just think my favourite thing that I want to leave you with is one of my favourite sayings from Pitt, which probably is going to feature in the book, which is, the biggest room in the world is the room of improvement.
Oh my God.
And that's what I want to leave you all with today. So,
okay, food for thought.
Pitbull Zen vibes. Okay, so that's your Showbiz Fix for the week. Remember, you can get a whole lot more telly and entertainment goss if you subscribe here at The Sun Showbiz on YouTube, and you can hear us in your ears wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week.